another match point.
Incredible third set here.
They changed their strategy a little bit and they fought their way back in.
There it is, game, set, and match. Hello and welcome to the 2024-25 APTA Tour. We're live from the Larendale Club in Baltimore, Maryland, bringing you the Baltimore Open with live streaming brought to you by the APTA membership and our tour presenting sponsors, Volley and Corient. Tournament support has been provided by the following local sponsors: the Larendale Club, M4 Paddle, MDP Insurance, Ripple Branding, The Seed, School of Maryland, Stifle, T. Rowe Price, Willpower PT, and Xenon Paddle. I'm John Kilmer, along with Patty Hogan, bringing you the men's final between Eric West and Tyler Fraser against Jose Salazar and Guillermo Nunez. Patty Hogan, welcome to the booth.
Hey, John, good to be here with you tonight. On the far side, in the black outfits, a lefty in the ad court. That's our reigning national champ, half of the team of Nunez and Powers. And Guillermo Nunez, Mark Powers, is getting married today as we speak, and congrats to Mark Powers. That's Jose Salazar over in that deuce court on the far side. In the near court, you're going to see the newly formed team of Eric West and Tyler Fraser. Eric West is the lefty, Tyler Fraser is the righty. Tyler, longtime partner of Alvin Morgan. Phenomenal team, played together the last 4 or 5 years. I think they had 3 semifinal appearances at Nationals and a quarters. And Tyler has teamed up with Eric, an explosive player. Cincinnati's finest on the far side, trying to take out the Northeast team of Salazar and Nunez. The umpire for today's match will be Jack Taylor. All matches in the men's side of this tournament are 2 out of 3 sets with no ad scoring, with the server choosing who he goes to when the score's deuce. John, this is going to be something I can't wait.
Yeah, and it's cool. Not only are Eric and Tyler a new formed team, but they're bringing some sponsorship deals with them to the sport of platform tennis. I don't know all of their sponsorships by name, but I know.
Well, it doesn't matter, John. They're not paying. They're not paying the APTA.
So I guess if the viewers at home want to look, and it's just another way that this sport is continuing to grow, which is cool.
That's right. We love the sponsors who pay the APTA to get the shout-outs on the live stream.
That's fair.
They have some local sponsors representing a local real estate firm. I believe I saw that on social media last week on Instagram. But what an exciting match this is going to be, because Eric West and Tyler Fraser, I mean, what an exciting duo. They played one tournament last year and they won it. They won the Midwesterns. So... And, you know, they're plowing through this tournament, and so they're undefeated as a team, John.
They are, and I was able to catch some of their matches in person today, and they just look really comfortable together. Both of them are hitting their drives well, but they're really controlling their drives. It looked like nothing was hit harder for them than 75%. They're just really comfortable with each other, applying pressure when needed, and once they get to the net, I mean, that's when they start to really do damage. Tyler is known for hitting really aggressive, attacking overheads, can cut the ball from any situation. And Eric not only is dynamic with his overheads as well, but he adds that lefty element. So this should be a really good test for them both against Salazar Nunez, who looked phenomenal in the men's semis, taking down Broderick and Christian 6-3, 6-1. Jose Salazar is serving, and we are underway at the 2nd annual Baltimore Open.
And John, really tough men's draw here. We could take a quick look at it, perhaps. And you can see the path to the finals for these guys. Take it away, John.
I mean, what jumps off the page for me is if you look at some of these first-round matches, there is, from the get-go, it was a 16-team tournament, and it was just strong from the start. Just what jumps off the page here is like a Bostrom, Rams, Burrs, Stravinsky first round. Really goes to show the depth of this field. But we saw both Nunez on the top of the screen and Fraser West at the bottom. Kind of took care of business all day. Fraser West dropped their first set in the first round as a team, and from there continued to win matches in straight sets, getting to the finals. And Nunez Salazar have not dropped a set yet today. So that is bringing us to the men's final as we speak, both of which have been battle tested against good opponents and have kind of taken care of business since 8:30 a.m. today.
last weekend on the stream, we saw Adam Morgan, Tyler's longtime buddy and partner. He's teaming up this year with Graham McNerney, and as soon as you saw that pairing, you're like, oh my lord, these guys could win the nationals together. And when I heard about the pairing of Fraser and West, I also thought, oh boy, this is going to be amazing. They just bring a different look to the table than Tyler Fraser and Adam Morgan did together, and you get the advantage of having a lefty. What team doesn't love having that lefty spin, to turn to? And you look at Nunez here, his overhead, I think, was the difference in last year's win at Nationals with Mark Powers. His overhead really kind of controlled and negated so much of the greatness of Salazar and Regalado.
And I think that just highlights, Patty, how deep the men's game is this year and how important each and every stop along the way of the APTA Tour is going to be, because these teams want to get these top 8 seeds going into nationals. And I know that we are, still in October, so talking about that feels a little premature, but each and every event is going to go a long way towards a good ranking at nationals, where because of the depth of the men's game, being able to avoid a sleeper team in the round of 16 or the round of 32 goes such a long way towards capturing a national title.
Yeah, and this is a grueling day. 4 matches for these guys. This is like running a marathon.
It really is. And there have been a couple breaks for the guys, but you're right, we're on hour 12, and throwing in some breaks sometimes might be good for the body and tough for the mind. So I was actually helping Guillermo Nunez find the coffee station not too long ago, just to make sure that his legs were working the way that he wants to in this final tonight.
Interesting. There's a great rip from Fraser. Cross court, Salazar just played it back from the baseline, short hopped it, moved in. You didn't see Fraser taking the net, which is, the big change in the game that we see a lot. They'll forego the opportunity to go up to the net on purpose, stay on the baseline.
And that took a weird bounce off Tyler Fraser's paddle. Looks like it maybe got him in the eye a little bit, but he seems to not be too worried about it, so I'm not going to be too worried about it.
Game Nunez Salazar. Nunez Salazar lead the first set, 1 game to love.
It's a good shot of Eric West. Eric played with Tomas Christian in some events. Really a gifted player. He played tennis at Southern Illinois and then at Oklahoma State. Helped Oklahoma State earn a top 25 national ranking. He's got a master's degree in marketing. He's one of the non-pros out here in the finals. The only non-pro.
The only non-pro. Although he used to be a pro.
Former pro.
Exactly.
Right. He's got pro-like skills, John.
He does, and he floats around the court just like the pros do. Really great job from Tyler Fraser there, just staying behind that backhand volley. Wasn't looking to cover anything outside of the body, put himself in good positions, and first hand battle of the day goes to Tyler Fraser. I bet you he's really good.
And when you have the lefty-righty at the net, there's a little bit of a hole that you don't see with 2 righty volleyers. But and you can just see with Fraser, he just stayed disciplined on his backhand and stayed there, and Salazar couldn't quite find the middle between the two of them at that point.
And that's a good point that you bring up, Patty, that when you play a lefty-righty, there's just a little bit more forehand volleys in the middle. It'll be interesting to see who kind of takes on the brunt of that responsibility in this new team. Will it fall more on Eric West, who, has probably played his whole paddle career with a fellow righty and might be a little bit more accustomed to flipping for some volleys? Or is Tyler Fraser going to incorporate a few more forehand volleys into his net game?
I should point it out, Salazar typically plays the deuce court in men's with Albi Regalado. He's playing the ad court here with his buddy, Guy Nunez, over there. Because Guy beat him in the finals of nationals, so I guess he gets to pick his side.
That, and I think a lot of people like watching these different partnerships just because, they're playing with someone else on a different side, and then that's all fun and good. But I like the different partnerships because you get to see just how versatile these players are. We are very used to, your point, Patty, not only seeing Jose Salazar more on the do side, but typically, I mean, he really throws up a lot of lobs. But he knows that Nunez likes to play a slightly faster speed than maybe him and Regalado do, and he's more than happy to accommodate that and drive a few more of those forehands in the middle. Just goes to show how much of this sport is about figuring out with your partner what speed as a team you guys think is going to be most successful, and then build your game around that.
Game, Fraser West.
You know, Nunez gives a lot of people problems with that lefty spin. I think he just got a little feel of what it feels like from Eric West.
And I don't think anyone was more disappointed in the outcome than he was. He gave his paddle a nice little slap, but he read that move early. I really like him stepping inside the court to take that ball early with his two-handed backhand.
Great recognition from Fraser right there. Knew there was wide open court off of that overhead from Salazar. Didn't quite make it into the corner and took advantage of it.
Fraser not only with a great dig there, but a really good effort of just getting out of the way of that ball. Woo! Unleashed forehand there from Eric West.
Yeah, get the radar gun out on Eric West.
Yeah, I'm here on site for this one, and that one made a sound coming off his paddle.
I heard that sound a few states away.
Something here, Patty, that will be interesting is I called the semifinal between Broderick Christian and Salazar Nunez. And in the second set, Nunez Salazar really looked to speed up play. I don't know exactly what prompted them, and it worked well for them in that second set. But within 3 or 4 overheads at the net, they were purposely overhitting the overheads to bait Christian and Broderick into driving. And it looks like they're bringing that same speed into this final against West and Fraser. And I think West and Fraser are more than happy to play at this speed. So we'll be interesting to see if this continues for that first set. Another really big forehand there for Eric West into the net. But I think the faster this match goes, the more it advantages Fraser and West. And I think we noted, Patty, last time that we called Regalado Salazar match is that while they speak Spanish to each other, they make their calls in English. Nunez Salazar communicate on court the whole time in Spanish. So if you are at home watching, you're like, I'm not quite sure what they're saying. That is A-okay. If you don't speak Spanish, we won't know either.
I've got my translator ready, John. I've been practicing with it.
You know what? That's probably a good use of ChatGPT. Help you understand what they're saying on the paddle court. And this is going to be the first match on the men's side today that is played with regular ad scoring. All matches up until this point were no ad sudden death. Wow, Eric West is really unleashing his forehand. Typically, he trusts his backhand a little bit more than his forehand, so really good to see him bringing it out early in the match.
Thank you for the correction on the score. I said it. I was in error when I came on the air.
I mean, who can blame you, Patty? They played it all day.
And I love that they played it all day, John. I think in a one-day tournament like this, 4 matches is just so grueling. So I love the rule.
Especially just to keep all the matches kind of on the same time scale. I think that's the biggest part, where you would hate for there still to be a men's semi being played right now and have the other team wait for 5 hours. And that's a really real possibility in the men's game currently when it's this warm. So to your point, I think especially if you're trying to get a one-day tournament and keep everyone on the same timetable, no ad is an excellent way to do that. And that just allows for crowds like we can kind of get a peek at in the background here to form. They just get a constant supply of paddle all day. Baltimore has just been buzzing. They've got great women's final match that you guys watched just before this, and we have another awesome final taking place in front of us.
Well, you know, as I'm just sitting back enjoying the action here and looking at West and Fraser as a team, because you've got the lefty in Eric West, you know, I think that's a huge advantage for Tyler Fraser. I mean, we're used to him taking a ton of the overheads. When he played with Adam Morgan, he played a disproportionate number of the overheads, was in that position to the left. We've talked about it, you know, positioning as the net team and how they choose to position themselves, where Tyler's always been that position to the left, where with Eric West, you know, they can go after that deuce player with that lefty spin. And so I just think as a team, the potential is way up there by adding a lefty. You know, there's times in the game where there's very few lefties in there, and then other times where we go through periods where all of a sudden you look at some of the game, you know, there's a couple lefties up here or a game's great players.
Yeah, I feel like just about every men's semifinal and final that has been taken place so far this year on the tour has featured at least one, if not two lefties.
Advantage, Nunez, Salazar.
And just a really good job for Tyler Fraser of spotting that backhand. He hit that at 30% speed. He found the opening, gave him plenty of time to get up to the net, won that point at the net. Awesome move.
So I said, you know, Fraser West played one tournament last year. Nunez and Salazar actually played 3 tournaments last year on the tour. They played the Long Island Dwayne Hayden event, and they beat Granger Ong in the finals there. They played Charities, lost in the semis to Araya McNerney, and they also played the Pittsburgh event, the Steel City Classic, where they lost in the quarters in 3 sets. Great match to Broderick and Taylor.
Yeah, that was one of the first paddle matches that I've seen in person where you could actively feel the crowd making a difference. The Pittsburgh crowd in that one was pulling hard for Scott Kaler, and they were all quite pleased to see him and Drew Broderick pull out the dub there. And of course, in platform tennis, we've talked at length about the importance of hitting good quality deep lobs and how short lobs get you in trouble. But I'd argue today it's even more important because Guillermo Nunez's drop shot has probably won him 20 points so far over the course of the day. We saw him win one either 1 or 2 points ago. Now that the sun's down, weather's dipping a little bit, it's only going to be easier for Nunez to hit that ball really effectively. So just further highlights the importance of good lobs, or good speed from Fraser and West to have to chase it down.
Advantage, Fraser West.
Clearly you can see Nunez, Salazar's strategy is Nunez overhead going after Eric West over there. Not giving Tyler Fraser much on the baseline so far.
And this is where I wish I had the ability to have little mid-break encore interviews with these guys. I'm curious how much of that decision to have Nunez take those overheads is simply because Nunez, Salazar think that is the better play, versus, to your point, do they think they are in a better spot to handle West Fraser from the baseline, giving more balls to Eric West?
Well, I think Tyler Fraser, he's got that two-handed backhand that is so smooth out of that ad court. So, you know, you can stay away from that altogether. And that's, you know, Tyler's offensive capabilities, we haven't really seen them yet because he's not being fed the shots that, you know, he's looking for. And he's playing rock solid, just kind of steady. He's just kind of going with the flow of the match at this point. And he knows that Eric West can pull the trigger, and he hits that forehand, you know, and breaks the sound barrier. So Fraser does not mind, you know, having their point set up where he looks for his two-handed backhand and Eric West is looking for his forehand.
Good read there from Nunez. Sometimes it can just be a little bit tricky when the ball has that much spin, taking it out of the air. You academically know how much more you have to open your paddle face, but in that moment it can just be a little hard to trust doing so. He didn't quite open it up enough there, and just an inch too short into the net. Tyler Fraser doing his best clay court tennis impression there, quickly pointing to the mark. Wow, what a get by Jose Salazar. And as much as this probably isn't exactly what Nunez wants to do pace-wise, I almost think right now they're better off hitting a few more push overheads just because of how well West and Fraser have been playing from the baseline once you start speeding up play.
And sometimes, you know, you're working so hard to put all that spin on the ball over and over and over and over. You know, you get a little bit of a breather when you throw in the push. It has to be at the right time, of course.
Of course. But it really is a physically taxing shot that you don't quite necessarily notice at midpoint, but it's hard to sustain 50, 60 cut overheads per point over a 2-hour match. So just to your point, just being selective. If you have an opportunity to step in and make it worthwhile, take it all day. But maybe if it's not there, just conserve a little bit more energy, play at a speed that you can stay in control of the point.
How about that shot from Nunez right there? He just like short hop, quick bounce that shot and put it back on Fraser's hands before he even realized it. Love the play from Nunez.
Advantage, Fraser West.
Yeah, he does a really good job of shortening the swing and really stepping inside the court, taking away time. To your point, it's back on your paddle before you realize it. There's the Tyler Fraser we know. Excellent cut.
Game, Fraser West.
He's just so calm when he does it.
3-1 in the first set.
almost came up with that. Yeah, you can see Salazar hits many more rollers where you can see Nunez will hit that cutter and that slice.
And I also like Salazar taking a few more of those overheads because it gives Nunez that ability to hang close to the net and look for that drop volley that he's hitting so well right now. And we've been talking a little bit, Patty, about how it's a long day for these guys. And I think a lot of times the viewers back home, when they think about the long day, they just think about the guys in the final. But you can see on the court next to us here, the backdraw final's happening. So just about everyone who came here today to start their day at the Baltimore Open at 8 a.m. is still playing. Just goes to show how much paddle you can get in on these tournaments, especially when they're played no ad and keeps everyone on schedule.
3 games in a row for Fraser West here, John?
That is correct. And that first game went to deuce, I believe. So, I mean, they're playing really well to start this match.
Out. 30 love.
Tyler would like that one over.
He would.
Shout out to Olivia and Tommy, Tyler's son. Sure they're enjoying the action from Cincinnati. As is everybody from the Camargo Club.
Yeah, I was talking to Tyler a little bit before this, and I jokingly asked him if Tommy's first shot that he learns is going to be the cutter. He goes, Tommy's going to have a continental grip until he masters the foundations. And I'm like, you know what, Tyler, that's probably a smart idea. So they're using a new ball after that last ball went off of Nunez and out into the forest at the Larendale Club. As this match kind of continues to unfold, something that I'll just be kind of curious about from this new team of Fraser West is under big moments, both West and Fraser prefer their backhands, which I can't speak highly enough of as someone who favors his backhand myself. But we're seeing Eric West start this match early, hitting that forehand well. It will be interesting to see as the season progresses who is going to be kind of that dominant player in the middle if teams start pushing more to the middle. Based so far, that answer feels like a pretty resounding Eric West. Will just be interesting to see. Or does Tyler start creeping more over to the middle so he can take more of the balls with his backhand?
Advantage Nunez Salazar.
I think you start with the Eric West missile forehand.
It is a weapon.
His backhand's not bad either.
No. Just kind of shows how funny racket sports is that you could argue that West forehand is more effective, but he trusts the backhand a little bit more.
Yeah, and I think Fraser, he's looking for his two-handed backhand more. His forehand is not his priority for the most part, unless he gets a gift up high like that.
Right. And even with that gift, he earned it. He saw it really early, got that paddle in position, took 3 big steps inside the court. Another earned the right to be at the net.
Yeah, I like how West moved over there. They had a little confusion on one ball, but because they're set up going into that half court.
Advantage, Nunez. Game, Nunez, Salazar. Fraser, West lead 3 games to 2 in the first set.
Get ready to take your training to the next level with Serve and Volley, the world's first responsive play drill. Volley's new AI-powered feature mimics real game conditions, tracking your court position and returning every serve just like the real thing. It's the ultimate way to sharpen your platform tennis skills with targeted practice. Try Serve and Volley today on the Volley Racket app and experience the future of training. Get Volley today at getvolley.com.
I actually, after doing all these calls with you, Patty, I finally had the opportunity yesterday to use the volley machine myself. I got to Baltimore a few hours early, so I hit up the director of racket sports at the Elkridge Country Club, Jody Sambrick, who I know has the volley machine, and he was just so awesome about getting me on court. I told him a couple of the shots I wanted to work on. Within 10 seconds, he set up the volley machine, and I had a great hour workout in it. If I had one myself, I think I'd be on the paddle court 4 hours a day.
Hey, there's no excuses not to get better anymore. You get the volley machine. You don't need it. You don't need 3 other players. Get out there, work on your skills, and that's why these top players, the level of the game just seems like it's getting better and better and better because their skills constantly are improving.
And that's just where I think, to your point, Patty, it just highlights that playing practice matches is great, but that's not really where you get the opportunity to work on adding skills. Focused, dedicated one-on-one practice, or I guess one-on-robot practice, depending on if you have a volley or not, that's really kind of your safe space where you get to work in a controlled environment where you have the freedom to add new tools to your toolbox. And as you can see, if you want to be in the final of an APTA Tour event, all 4 of these guys have no shortage of tools in their toolbox.
Yeah, Nunez knew he was dead right there and just couldn't pull his paddle back and just let the ball go through. It's interesting, John. Both players, both lefties, Nunez and West, they've come over really far at times, almost maybe too far, especially when you have Tyler Fraser, who's right there, and I know how good his overhead variety is, to take the ball versus West sliding that far over.
Yeah, so far, the only times that it's happened for both teams seem to be on like the 4th consecutive lob after that lefty hit 3 really good ones to earn it. So That's a really good point, Patty, that I'll be watching for moving forward. Is that just a byproduct of the teammate saying, hey, man, you've gotten this far, finish it off for us? Or is that just lefties creeping over, as lefties sometimes tend to do? It'll be interesting to see.
Well, I do think that at some point there's a place where they need to stop, especially because of the talent on the other side of the net. And just potentially leaving a lot of court open on the next ball. It's Jose Salazar in the pink short sleeve shirt. That's Guillermo Nunez, long sleeve green top on the near court. That's Tyler Fraser, one of Cincinnati's finest ever, over there in the ad court. And Eric West, the lefty in the deuce court.
Love 30.
That was pretty good gamesmanship, strategy, whatever words you want to use there from Eric West. It was close. It was definitely out. And when Guillermo asked more about it, Eric simply goes, ask Jose. He saw that it was out. And that kind of settled that debate, and we are at love 40. Oh, just really smart pace there from Tyler Fraser to get us to 4-3.
Fraser West lead 4 games to 3 in the first set.
And what a good overhead right there, Johnny. Just let that ball drop and hit the cutter. Unreturnable shot at that point.
Yeah. Hit it at the perfect pace, just hard enough that Nunez couldn't take that out of the air, and soft enough that it died off the back screen. Turns out if you're a top 6 player in the country, you got some skills.
This is kind of what I expected, a little bit of a seesaw back and forth here. I was really surprised by that 3-game run by Fraser Nunez early in the set. But now it's kind of taking the shape of the match I thought it would be. Back and forth, the score really close most of the time.
We were talking a little bit earlier, Patty, about just how much effort it takes to hit those good slash and cut overheads. So I'm curious, as Eric West and Tyler Fraser kind of continue to switch off who's taking those overheads, if that just means as a team they're going to start hitting a higher percentage of those overheads as attacking overheads, because you're almost giving the non-hitting guy time to load.
Yep, good point.
Love 30.
Something that Nunez does that I see very few people do is, he loves to sneak in and move in inside that baseline. And I see a lot of players where, let's say they keep lobbing and they know that they're just going to get another slash overhead at them. He kind of stops that by kind of sneaking in. And he doesn't really, it's obvious, he just moves in and is so confident in the hands play and confidence in his partner to cover behind him, that he takes a lot of risks that you don't see other players do in that situation.
And not only does his speed allow him to and enable him to do all of this, but he just keeps those feet moving. So even that when he kind of gets quote-unquote beat in some of these situations, he has those feet constantly turning, and he's able to bail himself out of trouble.
Phenomenal touch lob right there from Fraser. But they didn't take the net.
Wow, great cut overhead there from Eric West.
15-30.
You don't see a lefty often get that angle to hit a heavy spin over to the ad side of the court. Just kind of ate Jose Salazar up a little bit.
$15.40.
Like those waterfalls there from Guillermo
Game,
Nunez.
Nunez,
Really nice
Salazar.
mix-up speed and
Tied at 4 games.
well hit. They're
all
hard to
in the
defend.
first set.
It's interesting, you know, I mentioned how Fraser wasn't getting a lot of looks early in the set, and now I feel like he's slightly pressing. You know, maybe wanting some looks.
Yeah, I mean, it is strange. Like, when you are used to seeing the vast majority of balls, it can just be difficult to kind of recalibrate yourself to seeing 20% of them. Unfortunately, that court there just threw Tyler Fraser off enough. But sometimes some guys find it easier to stay patient when they're getting the steady dose of the balls. They feel like they're in control of the point, they're getting action, and they then feel like they're really in control of their own destiny. Where, you know, to your point, Patty, now that he's seeing less, he feels like anytime he does see it, he might have to do more than he'd otherwise think to do. So it'll be interesting, you know, how that kind of keeps up throughout the match.
They leave nothing to chance. They call out every lob. Every lob. They know who's going to hit the ball.
And people think that's important just because then it makes sure that the overhead player is in good position. I'd argue it's equally important for the non-overhead player so that this way they can start preparing for that next volley. And it also frees them up now to also tell their partner if a blitz is coming.
Yep, I was just floored. It's Nunez time. You feeling it right here? He's feeling it. He's doing his thing right now. And, you know, his overheads, he's one of the smaller guys on the tour. It doesn't matter. I think he's got incredible overheads that can break down the game's top players.
Oh, they're great. Their racket head speed, he catches it thin consistently. Really, really good overheads.
Yeah, he's looking quite masterful right here at this moment in the match. And, you know, you saw, you know, Fraser had a little shaky game there, serving up 4-3, threw in a fault. And then all of a sudden it's 4-all, and then you kind of just feel it from Nunez. You know, he wants the ball now. And Salazar's giving him many, you know, he's giving it to him. He's riding it. They can tell the hot hand, and they're riding the hot hand, and it's Nunez right now.
And I think just Fraser and West continuing to just have this steady diet of probing drives just gives a different speed and a different look that might just create, you know, maybe less opportunity for Salazar to have the cuts that he's having right now. Almost hit the umpire.
40 love.
Did he touch the net, John?
It looked like Nunez got the net on that follow through. And good on him. He was the first person to call it out. Really good read from Tyler Fraser, but equally good hands from Guillermo Nunez. Wow. Look at
Sick
him.
hands
Just
from
unafraid.
Nunez. Wow.
He just decided he was going to live up at the net that whole point. I don't think he knows what the word bail means.
It's a word from Chile.
Probably
They never told him that word. So, you know, we got the momentum swinging back big time to Nunez and Salazar here. You know, West and Fraser won 3 of the first 4 games, then the next 4 games, total switch. Soon, Nunez and Salazar won 3 out of 4, and Nunez and Salazar have won 4 out of the last 5 games. And, you know, it seems like they're in a little bit of control here of this first set. Just up 5-4, 1 game, and that's Eric West serving. It's Nunez, the lefty, on the far side in the deuce court. In the pink shirt, Jose Salazar. Up at the Stanwich Club. Nunez teaches at Pelham Country Club. Tyler, as we said, from the Camargo Club out in Cincinnati.
And this is one of those unique kind of stretches, Patty, where, yeah, Salazar and Nunez have won, for the last 5 games, but it's almost like Nunez is right now playing at such a high level, you almost wonder how much longer he can sustain, because he is just not bailing, he's cutting at will, and I think for Fraser and West to still be in it right now at 4-5, I think that still puts them in a really good position for this set. Because you can only play like a madman and get away with it for so long, and Nunez has been playing lights out these last, 20 minutes.
15 love.
Yeah, I expect Nunez to play lights out through March. I mean, he really, a lot of players, you see them, and they'll have some highs and some lows. He doesn't seem to have the low. He goes high and higher in matches.
That is fair. It's either at a super high level or a super high steady. It never has that valley.
Yeah, and what a sick shot right there. He just held his paddle to the side. He had a short backswing, wasn't going to bring the heat, and totally, pulled off a shot that Fraser Morgan were not looking for him to hit.
15-30.
Not Fraser Morgan, Fraser West.
I know, I find myself fighting that same urge. Rare volley error there from Jose Salazar. That puts us at 30-all. Eric West serving. Nunez Salazar up 5-4 in the first set of the final of the second annual Baltimore Open. Wow, did that go fast. Nice move from Nunez right at Tyler Fraser.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. He's so exciting to watch play because he doesn't sit back over there. If he's not getting the ball, he's got this creative, swirling artist mind over there in that deuce court. Really phenomenal to watch.
Looks like Salazar was about as surprised as I was that Eric West kind of stepped in front of Tyler Fraser there to take that overhead. But just like that, advantage Fraser West. It does feel weird for me watching a Tyler Fraser match where he's taking so few of the overheads. But that was a good game from Fraser West. 5-all.
Tied at 5 games all in the first set.
whenever I watch these matches, I'm always selfishly looking for things that I can sort of steal and implement in my own game. And something that I'm starting to see more and more of is guys slightly choking up on the paddle. Granted, it's typically at the net. Mark Powers does it, Eric West does it, Philippe Rams does it on his cut overheads. And I'm also noticing that Eric West is choking up on it a little bit from the baseline. So it's just kind of an interesting trend that's starting to happen. I think I've talked to some of the guys. They feel like they get more spin on their overheads and they have a little bit more maneuverability with that paddle. Just an interesting thing to note. That is really a hard hit forehand.
And you can see Salazar favors his forehand over his backhand volley. And I'll be curious to see if West kind of, instead of going to the right hip where he would with someone who favors their backhand volley, if he might not take that ball down the line once or twice. See if he can't break down Salazar that way.
Just a friendly little warning that if I'm going to drive the ball, just make sure you have your backhand ready.
Love 40.
Really fast game here, and not working well for Nunez right now. I feel like he's got to tamp it down slightly.
15-40.
Patient point from Nunez right there. You know, threw in a couple of the push, slowed it down slightly, got the opening and hit the nick.
That's a really good job there from Tyler Fraser, recognizing that right now Nunez might be in a recalibration stretch of this game, and maybe slowing down, hitting a little bit more high percentage, and quickly capitalizing on that. He saw that a push was coming, had a nice blitz. West and Fraser at the net with the possibility to break Nunez Salazar to get up 6-5. Ooh, a little slice and dice. Too good. Nice shot from
again.
Fraser West. Fraser West leads 6 games in the first set.
Yeah, and he's hit 2 of those with an open stance. Just really allows himself to just whip the hit out of the ball. Really well done. Makes it look super easy.
Fraser West.
My prediction is the third one, Nunez is going to get it. It's going to be an ATP. Because you see how wide Nunez came in for that one. First one, he kind of ran toward the ball. That time, he ran well where, right of it by about 4 feet where he knew the ball would end up after the bounce.
And I think that's why Tyler Fraser is hitting these cuts so much in the middle of the court, is I've seen a couple YouTube clips of Eric West having some really creative ATPs. So I think Tyler kind of knows that unless he keeps it in the middle of the court, to your point, Patty, Nunez is going to get a good jump on it.
15 love.
Tyler Fraser serving up 6-5. First set, finals from Baltimore. That's Jose Salazar returning from the ad court in the pink top. John, one more quick shout out to our tournament directors. Sam Byron and Nobu Tanaka have done a great job hosting this event, and this was Sam's vision, just to showcase how the great paddle that's going on in Baltimore, and just to really inspire the community around it to support it, and it just lights out for Baltimore paddle. And, it's growing, and I love the addition of new courts in the area. So exciting.
40 love.
And they do a really great job of getting all the top players in both the men's and the women's game to really act as a showcase of what paddle is all about and what Baltimore paddle can look like if they kind of keep committing to growing the game the way they are. Just a really awesome event, really awesome showcase. I know it's an event that the players look forward to playing every year.
So 3 set points here for Fraser West in the finals.
Nice short backswing on these backhands from both West and Fraser. Yeah, good job from Eric West there, just getting out of the way. Let Tyler Fraser cook. First set, Fraser West 7-5.
Game and first set, Fraser West, 7 games to 5.
And with that, we will be right back in just a moment after these messages right here on the APTA YouTube channel presented by Joho.
What does a good investment opportunity look like? At T. Rowe Price, we let curiosity light the way, asking smart questions about opportunities like clean water and what promising new treatment advances can make a new tomorrow possible. Better questions, better outcomes.
At Corient, wealth management begins and ends with you. We believe the more personal the solution, the more powerful the result. We treat your goals as our own. We never lose focus on the life you want to build. And our experienced advisors design custom-built strategies to help you get there. It's time for a wealth management experience as sophisticated as you are. It's time for Corient.
Welcome back to the APTA Tour. We're here at the Baltimore Open in Baltimore, Maryland, with this men's final match between Cincinnati's Eric West and Tyler Fraser against Guillermo Nunez and Jose Salazar. They couldn't wait to get that second set started, so we are now at 15-all in the second set with Salazar serving. Patty, what you think about that first set?
Exceptional high-level play, so fun to watch. Two teams that are new, new pairing. We know that West and Fraser will play the season together. Salazar, Nunez, each down one of their regular partners. Alvi Regalado couldn't play this weekend because of school, and Mark Powers couldn't play because he was getting married, of all things. Congrats, Mark, and to his wife, and to his mom, of course. One of my favorite at tournaments. Just a high-level display, some momentum swings, very little separation between the teams. And what stands out are those two Tyler Fraser cut winners, that the only 2 balls that Nunez couldn't get in this first set. Salazar, what a rock solid, first set. Just he's kind of invisible in a way, John, where he misses nothing. He gives the opponents nothing. Nunez went on a really hot streak right out there, midway through that first set, caught on fire. But Fraser and West just kind of, went about their business, got their opportunity, took it, held serve. Tyler held serve to hold and close out that first set, 7-5. John, so Salazar Nunez. What's the difference in points, do you think, overall in this match? If we were keeping track. I mean, how many points are separating these guys? 3 points or something overall?
And I bet you Salazar and Nunez have won more of the points. It felt like when on that 4-game stretch when Nunez was just on an absolute hot streak, they were winning those games, 40-love. But it seemed like he was almost on such a hot streak, they didn't necessarily come up with a first set strategy outside of let Nunez be Nunez. And when he just, I don't even want to say cooled off, but was less hot for those last couple games, that was just kind of the only opening that West and Fraser needed to squeak that first set out 7-5.
I'll be curious if they throw more balls over toward Fraser's corner. I mean, the problem is maybe not his corner. I don't know. Do you attempt his forehand a little bit? I know his two-handed backhand's lights out, his movement, his coverage. But, I wonder if we'll see a little bit more of trying to bait Tyler Fraser here in the second set.
Ha! 40-30.
I think that's definitely something that could happen if Nunez starts hitting a few more push overheads. It still looks like he's trying to play a slightly faster tempo, which just kind of opens the door more towards hitting those aggressive overheads closer to the west side of the court. And as I say that, Nunez dumps 3 push overheads right to the Fraser forehand. So you know what? The reverse commentator's curse is happening to me right now.
It's okay, John. Get used to it.
Yeah, that's a real humbling moment for me.
It happens to everybody.
Nunez Salazar. Nunez Salazar lead 1-0 in the second set. Fraser West won the first set 7-5.
Hey, John, what's coming up on the APTA Tour? I know this is our 3rd stop. What do we have after Chicago? We talked about charities next weekend. What do you have? What's in store for us after?
I believe off the top of my head, which just shows you how much I've been looking at this schedule recently, I believe the next week is going to be Cleveland, and the week after that is the Aronimink Open in Philadelphia. So, I mean, this first half of the APTA Tour season is on full steam ahead with just week after week after week of high-caliber tournaments. And with 2 Grand Prix being in the first half of the season, a lot of teams such as what we saw this weekend in Baltimore are trying to get some tune-ups before they go out to charities or Detroit, which just means that there's no stop on the APTA Tour that is anything other than stellar.
Yeah, and I mean every weekend you can count on the APTA live streaming matches. I heard there's like a baseball game or something tonight going on, John.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've heard that.
They worked with us to make sure that they start after the conclusion of this final.
Oh, that was perfect. We thank the Dodgers and the Yankees for that. We also have the Milton Point Cup coming up. That's a new event for the men's APTA Tour out of Rye, New York. The Bourbon Ball down in Louisville. We've got the Westchester Classic. All leading up to the Long Island Dwayne Hayden Invitational right before Detroit. That's the second Grand Prix before the break for the new year.
Love 30.
John, I love that, here Nunez and Salazar's regular partners can't play, so they team up. These guys are all friends, and that's what I love. These guys don't want to miss a stop on the APTA Tour. There's prize money, and there's ranking points out there, and even if your regular partner can't play, these guys are jumping in trying to earn, valuable national ranking points just to improve their seeding as they go through the season, ultimately going into nationals.
And playing with new partners just makes you play differently, which only makes you a more well-rounded player. I think a lot of times people just kind of say, all right, I'm going to play some ad, I'm going to play some deuce, I'm well-rounded. But you also have to adjust your play styles based on how your partner likes to play, and that's just a whole nother piece of the puzzle. So I think, especially for those club players, you get way better by mixing around the partners that you play with. Now, that's not me saying never play with the same person for more than 2 matches. I think there's definitely value in having a regular partner. But there's also value in going out there with new people, forcing yourself to play in different ways and continuing to add, skills and make yourself a versatile player.
Yeah, and you see Fraser out here. We're used to watching Fraser Morgan for the last 4 or 5 years with Fraser, we talked about it, hitting 80 or 90% of the overheads. And here, it's the opposite. He's only hitting about 10% of the overheads. So every different pairing will force you to use some different tools in your tool chest, and that's how you improve as a player.
And that doesn't mean, as we just saw there, that Tyler Fraser's standing around and saying, you, Eric. He's probing around at the net. He's looking to pick off volleys. He's still staying active,
40,
just in a different way than maybe we're used to him doing so with Adam Morgan.
Really good deep volley right there from Eric West. You saw Nunez doing his signature move, cheating inside the baseline, trying to short hop that ball, but just the depth and the pace of the volley made it tough.
Wow, really nice pickup there from Nunez. So it does look like the Salazar Nunez strategy right now in these overheads is when in doubt, push middle. And it'll just be interesting to see kind of how West Fraser decide to play it. I think it'll kind of give us a little bit of a blueprint to how they think about the middle going forward throughout this season, and honestly through their partnership. Well, that's a slippery little one-handed backhanded blitz. Good volleys up at the net there from Salazar Nunez.
Oh my God.
Nunez.
John, I'm speechless. That point, I mean, I tend to just watch Nunez, whatever he does, and I kind of focus in on him at times. And I just was watching him in that point. I mean, he came up with 4 sick gets. Incredible hands. Salazar came up with one more and finally got an error out of Weston Fraser.
Ooh, nice little drop volley. Good coverage from Jose Salazar. Just misses that ball long. Tyler Fraser was there to trust but verify that that ball went long. Advantage Fraser West to tie the second set up at 1 apiece.
Game, Fraser West. Tied at 1 game all in the second set.
Hey, John, it must be nice to be able to, have a game point and hit a serve that kicks that far over. You've got that shot, right?
I'd probably say I get one of those a month, and I can never tell you when it's going to happen, but I'm definitely happy when it does. I wish I had that on command like these guys do.
15 love.
You heard the warning? Incoming.
Right.
You saw
Kind of sounded
Fraser.
like danger.
Yeah. But I love when your partner, that's great teamwork. Good communication. Call it out. So you know when the guy's coming in if you haven't caught his sneak attack there.
And I'm a little partial. A lot of time players will kind of say, I don't know how to stay engaged mentally at the net when my partner's hitting 10, 15, 20 overheads in a row. And if you're the one leading communication, if you are looking for the blitz, if you are just kind of keeping you and your partner up to date with what your opponents are doing, very easy to stay mentally locked in regardless of if you are the one hitting most of those overheads.
All.
It's interesting. You're watching this incredible display of the skills on volleys from Nunez Salazar. A lot of touch feel kind of volleys. The problem is they're not landing deep. And I think a lot of volleying goes, depth, is the key on volleys. And maybe they're hitting a few too many finesse shots. I don't know. I mean, they're playing incredible defense. And it's easy for me sitting here watching it, saying it, but it just kind of occurred to me that you just can't leave anything short on the court we haven't seen that much of Eric West in the live stream. We've seen a lot of Tyler Fraser, but Eric just is lights out off those short balls, forehand or backhand.
Yeah, especially once you get him moving forward, it really kind of brings out the tennis background that he has and can really hit through the ball in those situations. And both Tyler and Eric are fantastic athletes. So inducing movement just makes it an athletic battle all around. And don't get me wrong, Salazar, Nunez are great athletes in their own right. I just don't know if speeding it up and turning it into, a feat of athleticism is one that's necessarily going to favor one team or the other.
You know what, John? Because I think in this match, it's not like these guys are freak of nature. Every one of them is so phenomenally talented. So, there's certain defaults that we often see in matches, but no such thing with these 4 players out here.
No. And like the way that we just kind of looked past how good of a volley that was from Salazar Nunez, where Eric West flew in to take it down a backhand from the service line. And we're acting like it's routine, just speaks volumes to these guys' skills.
There's that drop shot you were referring to. I couldn't wait to see one, and now I can see what you're talking about.
Yeah, he was doing it in the middle of the day when the sun was out, when it was pushing 65, 66. It was really impressive.
Game, Nunez, Salazar. Nunez.
Take one more look at the drop shot that those of us who have been on site at Baltimore have seen multiple times today. Just a really good job using that All-American background of closing early, crossing, getting that hands nice and soft, deadening the ball. Really nice drop shot there from Guillermo Nunez.
Good shot. Cincinnati's Tyler Fraser. Serving over to Guillermo Nunez. Pink shirt, Jose Salazar. And the black shirt, in the near side, gray pants, that's Eric West.
Selfishly, just kind of as a fan of the sport, I do like seeing Tyler Fraser hit a few more of those overheads. Just he does a really good job of keeping his opponents off balance and then really makes them pay for those short lobs with, honestly, maybe the best cutter in our game. I'm sure a couple other guys would like to argue me on that statement, but you know what? That's why we play.
No, we've watched him just dominate and carve up some of the game's top players with his overhead, so you just want to see that a little bit more. Maybe Eric will share a little bit.
I feel like that was the first Fraser Morgan type scream that we've heard from Tyler Fraser. Anytime that there was a drop shot in years past, you'd hear Tyler Fraser yell, go. Let one of those go. Inspired Eric West to get the wheels turning and got there. Just unfortunately missed that forehand.
You'll notice a lot before Tyler Fraser serves from that ad court, he'll kind of look down. I remember he had an issue. There was an issue a couple of years ago in Boston in an event where, you can't stand outside the line when you're serving, and there were some calls made, so you always see him checking his feet.
I guess that's just further anecdotal proof that we do learn more from our failures than we do our successes. he gets called out on it once many years ago, and now it's just a part of his pre-serve routine on that ad side. Wow, great dig from Salazar. Now Tyler Fraser gets to go to work.
40-30.
I think I just wanted some more Tyler Fraser time. I just want to see him hit some more shots, and he's so good and talented, and I'm just eager to see what the year brings for Fraser and West.
And as this partnership continues to evolve, it'll just be interesting to see how they kind of decide who takes those overheads. Of course, if they had a predefined strategy of really deeming it effective to pick on one side, that can help. But outside of that, if there's an easy ball in the middle, it'll just be interesting to kind of see, because both Eric and Tyler are such great players because they want the ball. So just kind of seeing how they determine who gets to do more of the carving on those short lobs, it's going to be interesting. Feels like Nunez is, I can't ever tell if he's heating up versus just deciding to play faster. But either way, whatever that tempo is for Guillermo Nunez, that's how he was playing that last point. Great return there from Eric West, right at Jose Salazar's feet.
So we're back and forth, in the early going here in the second set. Each team kind of taking turns, winning games, holding serve here. Kind of a little bit more of what I expected how this match would go. But just such high level play. It's incredible to watch. Oh, must be nice. And Tyler just strolled up, stuck his paddle up there.
He did, and he kind of moved with some urgency, but that ball got probably, I think, 2 feet higher than he was expecting. Kind of turned that two-handed backhand into a one-handed backhand. Just got that paddle on it, got it down at their feet for the point. Really nice play. It almost looked like Salazar was thinking about doing a leap of some sort before he hit that overhead. Decided against it, hit a nice push, and we're still in the point. And Fraser does such a good job of causing chaos with that positioning without overhitting those volleys. He knows that the move itself is the aggressive part of that move, and he's more than willing just to kind of make that first volley back in, turn it into a hands battle, because he has such faith in his ability of coming out on the winning end of those interactions. It's just a nice off-tempo forehand.
Fraser West lead 3-2 in the second set.
John, Corian is excited.
7-5.
Corian is so excited to partner with the APTA because whether as advisors to our members or as members themselves, they're already part of the APTA community. Learn more at www.corian.com, the official wealth sponsor of the APTA. So Eric West serving. Eric and Tyler Fraser are up a set, 7-5 and up 3-2. Second set, finals from Baltimore at the Lauderdale Club in Ruxton, Maryland. I'm Patty Hogan with John Kilmer, calling the action. John, this is probably a good time. Shout out to the APTA crew on hand there. Jackie, Cindy, and Karen doing a fabulous job as they do every weekend. Really helping with so much of the behind-the-scenes stuff that nobody notices, but is so key to a smooth running tournament. Shout out to them, and of course to APTA Executive Director Ann Sheedy. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Ann, and shout out to the whole My Paddle team who's kind of running, the streaming component of this week's stop on the APTA Tour. We talk about it every week. It takes a village to make this happen, and they're doing a great job. So shout out to Mark Innes and company there.
Yep, and one more shout out for Ann Sheedy. She's done a great job for helping grow the sport of platform tennis. And John, you're so nice to tell me you would volunteer to sing happy birthday to Ann live on air.
You know what, Patty, if I had a better singing voice, I'd like to think I'd be famous. Unfortunately, I'm not going to make the APTA live stream channel lose viewership with some questionable singing.
We could hum it.
No, but big shout out to Ann Sheedy. When I was the tournament director for the Steel City Classic last year, she lives in Pittsburgh and was such a phenomenal help, and she's just been a huge resource for the whole APTA over the years. So happy birthday, Ann.
40-15.
John, I've been around the sport for a long time, and Ann has been such a workhorse behind the scenes in
the second set.
in really connecting the dots with players. So many people reach out to Ann. How do we grow our program? What do we do? What advice do you have? And Ann has been phenomenal over the years, and connecting people all over the country to how they can grow their program with different pros and tournament directors, and a lot of things behind the scenes that no one really knows about, but were key to our game's growth.
And just that idea, Patty, of connecting the dots is kind of what makes our paddle community so special, is that once you're in it, you just kind of have 1 degree of separation from a ton of amazing members of a community in a new town. And that's just something that's been great of our game, and having those facilitators really just helps you really feel ingrained as part of the community.
So slight separation here. Fraser West up 4-2.
15 love.
But I love them as a team. John, they are really phenomenal. And I'm looking at these 4 players, John, and I'm going to ask you a question. Is there a weakness?
No, the closest way that I would answer that is maybe there's less of a strength. And what's unique about all these guys is if there is a quote-unquote less of a strength, it's on the side of the court where their partner can fill in the gaps. So it's, to your point, Patty, not only are all 4 of these guys phenomenal players, but they're both, they chose their partners for a reason, because they play well as a team. And I think I've said this earlier in the day, but if you can, instead of thinking as 2 me's, think as 1 we on the court, you're going to be special. And all 4 of these guys do that exceptionally well.
15-30.
See, Nunez is going really fast right now. And I think when he goes really fast on the baseline, sometimes it helps him. I think when he goes really fast on the net sometimes, like right now, I'm not sure it's the play. Only because I don't feel like he has to press so much, and they're down in this set. So I just feel like he's got to get a little deeper in the point.
And I think, too, that's when just having a good relationship with your partner can go such a long way. Because I don't necessarily agree nor disagree with like Nunez playing fast being good or bad for him at the net. I think it's dependent. And earlier in the match, him playing fast at the net was helping him out. And to your point, I don't think playing fast at the net right now is helping. And I think that's a lot of times when if you have a good relationship with your partner, you know how to, tactically navigate that situation of saying, let's do this other thing, plan B, let's cool off. Whatever phrase you find works well with your partner, but just being a team out there and kind of communicating that can help too.
30 all.
But a really good job there of sneaking that by a blitzing Tyler Fraser to get us to 30 all in this game.
Holy cow.
All four guys wanted that one. You could feel the exhale there when Fraser West took it.
No, it's 30, 40. Replay, yeah? It's 30, 40.
Never seen someone say wait, and then proceed to serve the ball. But here we are. They're reserving. 30-40 or 40-30 Fraser West.
Hey, you're national champion. You get to call the rules. No, that was kind of a funny move.
Just goes to show that we are not Wimbledon out here. As much as we sometimes like to think we are, it's still a very gentlemanly sport.
Eric West just playing lights out. His level, phenomenal out of that deuce court.
Being patient and taking the swing every time it's available with the forehand or backhand. I think it's 5-2 Fraser West.
5 games to 2 in the second set.
And as we know in paddle, it is never over until they shake hands. But with the World Series being on, just want to make sure the viewers at home know that stick around for a few minutes after the last point of this match for on-court interviews with both the finalists and the champions of this year's Baltimore Open. So stay tuned to hear what the players themselves have to say post-match, and then you're free to enjoy a battle of giants with the Dodgers-Yankees.
John, how impressed are you by Eric West?
As someone who's been in Pittsburgh and is no stranger to the Midwest, I've known about Eric and gotten to be on court with him a fair amount over the past 4 years. So I've always thought the world of him, and it's great to see him get more live stream exposure this year. So for the people who maybe are only more familiar with the live stream regulars to get to know Eric West as well, because he is as dynamic as they come. I think there's a video from Doug Jones, who's a Cincinnati guy who posts a lot of league play videos of Tyler hitting a really good cutter that Eric West jumped over the net and hit a tweener into the net for the point. So just, that was my maiden exposure to Eric West, and he's a heck of a player, heck of a talent, and he, great partnership with Tyler Fraser, and should be a great year for both of them.
And I think we both believe they could win nationals. That's how good they are.
They absolutely could. There really seems to be 8 to 10 teams this year, which is just going to be a lot of drama in Philadelphia come March.
Oh yeah, Bruce Redpath and his committee getting going. They've got everything planned out. As I said on the live stream a week ago, Sue Doherty showed me they have every match of the entire event already mapped out. They know the times and the clubs. It's incredible.
It's also the first
15 all.
nationals that doesn't feel like a voyage for myself. I've played Long Island and Chicago and Boston, so I finally get one that's drivable. So excited for that.
15-30.
You saw Tyler serve. He's got the sidearm serve, John. I haven't seen it today. Did you see it earlier?
No, he has been
Okay.
a very traditional Tyler Fraser today. I always like the matches when he brings out like 17. I know there was one against, I think it was Micker Doya and Sven Burris in Philadelphia a couple years ago, where he was jumping forward, hit across the ball. It was a brand new serve that he seemed to cook up just for Micker Doya. So no shortage of creativity from Tyler Fraser. And that leads us to the first match point of the day for Fraser West. Up 40-30, 5-2 in the second set at the second annual Baltimore Open here at the Lauderdale Club. Really nice return there from Jose Salazar, who heart rate has remained the exact same all day.
He went a little bigger on that return to serve. Perfect timing.
Perfect timing. Really good job there from Tyler Fraser, getting right on top of the net to handle that. Another big forehand from Jose Salazar.
Advantage, Nunez, Salazar.
All right, back against the wall. He's going to come out swinging. Wow, really nice overhead combination there from Eric West.
Really good combination. Got a little lucky there, but I mean, he let that ball drop. Beautiful winner against Nunez over to that deuce court.
Oh, really slick little forehand poke from Tyler Fraser.
Advantage, Fraser West.
All right, another match point for the Cincinnati natives. Really nice volley there from Eric West. Just a phenomenally high quality match point here being played.
John, every point in this match.
I know, it's been great.
It's like, it really has been. I was just thinking to myself, I don't think I've seen a match with such spectacular shot making throughout. Really phenomenal.
Right now the crowd in Baltimore is being quiet, just taking in this incredibly high level match.
Oh, come on. They're just taking a sip of beer.
That's, you know what, that's fair too. I was being a little bit more PG, Patty, but we can be real with the folks late night.
Well, you know, it's just about 9.
That is beer o'clock.
You can see Salazar set up when he's going to roll that ball. You see his grip go way over, John.
Way over, and because of it, it almost kind of acts as a warning to Tyler Fraser that good luck blitzing off this ball.
Yeah, and a lot of club level players think if they show something early that it helps the other team. I just think it helps you execute the shot.
Oh my God, if you telling me, Patty, that I had to scream, I'm hitting a forehand in exchange for me hitting a forehand like Eric West, I would do that in a heartbeat. Wow, what a crazy get from Tyler Fraser.
Oh my God, I wonder if Tommy stayed up late enough to see that.
Or worse, Tommy's going to think that's just how easy paddle is. It's like, no, that's very difficult.
My dad can do that.
Right, my dad can do that.
Salazar. Gabe, Nunez, Salazar. Fraser West.
All right, it's not over yet.
3-second set.
Quick shout out to Charlotte Gillette, her sister Sue. Big fans of the live stream. They love listening to you, John. They play out of Glens Falls Country Club in Queensbury, New York. You'll meet Sue at Nationals. She's one of the co-chairs. She's on Bruce Redpath's team, and she's recruited her sister Charlotte, among others, from upstate New York to come down and be hut commanders for Nationals. Watch out, if Sue dials you, she's going to ask you to be a hut commander.
All right. Luckily, I'll be playing, so I think that's a conflict of interest there. But looking forward to meeting Sue, and big shout out to everyone on the live stream who listens, so that this way, Patty and I can say we're not just talking to each other during these matches. Really nice dig there from Eric West. Whew. Monster forehand. And everyone's blitzing. All right.
This is just a phenomenal, crazy good match, John.
It is. And the crowd right now is making like Wii tennis noises. Everyone's into it. Salazar's just feeling this roller right now. All right, Patty, that's a new shot. Fake drop shot waterfall. The spectrum on that one. Let's see if that's going to be a replay of it. It worked because for the last 12 hours, Patty, in the last 24 times that he has run up to the net like that, he has hit a world-class drop shot. So Tyler Fraser, using pattern recognition, took a very data-driven guess there to move forward, and Salazar changed it up. And not only is that going to benefit him on that point like it did, but now it might just cause one more half second of hesitation from Fraser West moving forward when they see Guillermo get ready for that drop shot. So just a nice kind of play to keep his opponents on his heels, both in the moment and moving forward.
I think to your point, John, it goes in your memory bank. You hit some shots that have success. Your opponents know your success rate, and they look for that. And that's why that shot, oh my God, that was so cool. He held it to the last second.
30 love.
I like that West was going down the line right there. He just a little overjuiced.
Just a little. Pretty athletic play there from Nunez just to, not get hit in the face.
Nunez is actually sweating out here. I don't think, has Salazar broken a sweat yet? That's how smooth he is.
He's a cool customer. As Stuart Scott would say, he's as cool as the other side of the pillow. Ooh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. That'll work.
Salazar. Fraser West lead 5-4, second set. Fraser West won the first set.
That's definitely worthy of an instant
7-5.
replay. And that live stream doesn't even do justice to how much RPMs he put on that ball. That thing shot backwards the second it touched the surface.
Well, what I love in these pressure moments and the must-win games that Nunez has to have with Salazar here, obviously, Nunez delivers. He loves that moment. I think Salazar loves the moment, too. I think I would put it on Salazar's paddle a little bit more when they're at the net, if I were West and Fraser.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that just kind of comes from having Tyler Fraser maybe right now pattern break, take more of the overheads, which we've been talking about a little bit. So again, it'll just be interesting to see how they have that conversation, because it's really not anything that Eric West is doing wrong. It's just kind of taking advantage of the other superhero that you have on your team to get involved with a few more overheads as well. An embarrassment of riches on that side of the court. I really feel like the gamesmanship in Tyler Fraser's going to come out here and see if he can hit a better cutter than Nunez does. And I thought we were going to see it right there.
Yeah, it was kind of setting up for Tyler to do it, but he passed up on the opportunity.
Really good volley there from Eric West. That was hard hit inside the court. Great job keeping that backhand up.
Yeah, I was surprised Salazar didn't take it up the middle, through the middle with that lefty-righty. You have that awkward spot.
Yeah.
And he kind of went to West's backhand side, and he was waiting for him.
Love 15.
See, this is the thing. And Salazar, great rip on that short ball. I love the play of Salazar Nunez, just as competitors. They never back down, and a match might be slipping or a set, or, just slipping a little bit, but that's when those guys are going to dial it up, and they're going to come up with the goods every single time.
Yeah, on both match points that Fraser West have had, Jose Salazar came up with a huge forehand return. Just like that forehand that we're seeing him swing right now. That's 3 good ones in a row. 4 good ones in this point. I feel like I'm on Jose Salazar forehand watch. And sometimes we talk about Regalado, Salazar when they're playing, how sometimes they flip to their forehands maybe a little bit more regularly than a team of 2 righties does. But that just makes Salazar a perfect candidate to play some matches with lefties, and he feels right at home with that occasional forehand volley. Whew. That was a Scott Kaler-esque volley, just right on top of the net, kept that paddle right by his right hip. Awesome volley there from Tyler Fraser.
First set, Fraser was serving at the same game, right? Wasn't he up 5-4, and Salazar Nunez broke him in that first set?
I believe so.
Fraser and Morgan went on to hold, win the set 7-5, obviously. But feels like we're at that same spot again.
And I'm not as big of a believer in like certain games are must-wins as others, just because at this level, right, you know that all 4 of these guys are going to stick to the game plan and play each point with meaning. But when you have a couple match points and you let those slip, those are sometimes the ones that can linger a little longer, even for these elite guys, like all 4 of these guys are. Having 2 match points slip through their fingers at 5-3, and we're staring down 5-all in the face, those thoughts linger.
I'm with you. I think the most important point is the next one. The most important game is the game you're playing.
Correct. And the most important shot is the one right in front of you. It's amazing how easy Tyler Fraser makes that backhand look because of all the work he does on the front end of getting that backhand and backswing prepared early, so that by the time his opponent hits it, all he has to do is swing forward, make contact with the ball. Looks significantly easier than it is. But 40 love Nunez Salazar to claw back from 2 match points down during 5-3 to get it back to 5-all here in the second set at the Baltimore Open final. That's some great racket head speed there from Guillermo Nunez.
Game, Nunez Salazar. Tied at 5 games all in the second set.
So, you know, that momentum swing we saw in the first set twice. We just had one here in Nunez Salazar 3 games in a row. Down 5-2, tied it up at 5-all. It's what they expected to do, though, right, John? They're unfazed by the score as players.
They are unfazed. I can't remember if it was Mark Fischel or Brad Easterbrook who said about Johan Durant. Johan Durant can even come back after they shake hands. It's kind of how I feel about all 4 of these guys out here.
Yeah, just a testament to their ability to remain competitive at all times. I mean, this is straight up. No one's having Moody's out there. You know, when they play great, they play great. When they make a silly error, they make an error. So be it. They move on. You know, just pure competitive fun out here.
And I think that's a byproduct of all 4 of these guys being in big pressure situations. The first time you're in it, it is objectively harder to keep your nerves, keep your wits about you. All 4 of these guys are no strangers to big competitive matches, whether that be high-level tennis matches, whether that be high-level important paddle tournaments. And it kind of gives you that experience to draw upon, except that there might be some nerves. Play anyways, swing through anyways, compete anyways, and doing a really good job of that and treating us all to a world-class final.
30-40.
Closest thing to a Moody we've seen all day with that ball strike right at the door.
Yeah, that was a Moody. And, you know, Moody comes from being, you know, frustration. Like, what do you have to do? All these guys are playing such a high level here. What do you have to do to win a point? It's phenomenal.
Fraser West leads 6-5 in the second set.
All right, after letting a couple match points slip and getting to 5-all, Fraser West right there, steady the ship at 6-5.
I can't say enough about the play of Fraser and West. I thought they would be a phenomenal team. They're even better than that.
It's almost as a warning to anyone playing tournaments out there. You are going to play a world-class player just about every tournament that you go to. And every final on the APTA Tour is going to be must-watch TV. And we haven't even seen some of the battles like a Fraser West McNerney Morgan matchup, which I personally am hoping I get to call later on in the year. So just no shortage of both new teams and new, potential matchups for us to call and watch. So it should be a lot of fun. Wow, what a nasty overhead from Eric
15
West.
off.
That ball shot straight down off the side screen. Seems like Eric West has found another gear right now on his slash overhead over to the deuce side.
30-15.
Bleeding over into some really good hands exchanges. 30-15 Fraser West, 2 points away from the title.
Yeah, great soft hands on that volley to keep it away from Nunez.
Wow, what great volleys. Tyler Fraser really sauntered back to the baseline for that one. Great dig. All right, they need to hit a good lob to get out of the spin cycle, or a tomahawk forehand.
It's just remarkable. You're watching this, and they hit shots that you think are winners, and they're volleyed back by all four players all night long. And the Yankees are losing 4-1, by the way.
Yeah, I've heard it in the hut behind me. Feels like I've heard them say the Dodgers have 3 home runs. So sorry to anyone who was waiting to watch that game. A really good court presence from Tyler Fraser. And I'll tell you what, Patty, Jose Salazar's roller these past 20 minutes kind of feels like it's been the quiet, sneaky difference maker getting them back into this set. Hasn't missed it. Makes it really hard for Eric or Tyler to get a good ball to redrive. Gives Guillermo just a little bit of time to recover. Really effective shot right now. I don't think he's pleased.
He cannot believe he just missed that ball.
What a volley. And I talk about this all the time. I feel like we talk a lot about how brazen Tyler Fraser is with his court positioning, and we don't quite give enough credit to his partner, who just holds their ground on the baseline and cleans up those shots that get by Tyler Fraser. If Tyler Fraser is playing with a partner who can't get that ball, that makes Tyler have to play a little bit more conservatively. And he just has those amazing partners who are willing to play that role at the baseline to enable his dynamic moving. And it really is a team game. That got a piece of Tyler
Nunez,
Fraser.
Salazar.
Man, this when they're back against when Nunez and Salazar back is against the wall, they are just playing lights out.
Yeah, great point, John. When their backs are against the wall, it seems like it unleashes something else in their mindset. Wow, phenomenal lob again.
I like the little mini conversation there between West and Fraser. Eric West said you, Tyler Fraser said can't, and he ran back and just lobbed up that ball from the baseline. Oh, unlucky let court.
Game, Nunez, Salazar.
To the tiebreaker we go.
Tied at 6 games all in the second set. Tiebreak.
It seems fitting that we have a tiebreaker, John.
It does seem fitting. Truly fitting would have been a 6-all, no-ad deuce point, but you know what? This is close. Wow, great hands.
Again, another phenomenal lob from deuce court from Nunez.
It was, and somehow all the club players, when they discuss this match tomorrow morning, are going to talk about the rollers and the cuts and the drives, and they're going to conveniently leave out the phenomenal digging and lobbing that all 4 of these guys did, and it is the bedrock foundation of all of these players' games. Nice coverage there from Tyler Fraser. With how effective the roller's been for Salazar Nunez these last, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes, I would expect to see almost nothing but push overheads and rollers for the rest of this tiebreaker. But we'll see if my commentary curse continues.
I'm just amazed at how many back and forths, even in this point, Nunez and Salazar have hit to those guys, going back and forth. You know, no such thing as kind of sticking on one side.
No. Goes to show that the faith that they have in their attacking overheads that are going to make it difficult for Fraser West.
Right, and I think where I was going with it with John was a little bit more that they can go back and forth and they have incredible anticipation, court coverage, speed, quickness, rapid skills, and so they can get away. It never hurts them.
No, never.
It rarely hurts them, I would say.
One love, Fraser West.
Guillermo Nunez can't believe he missed that ball. Quick walk to the other side, no need for water. I guess now he's getting the water. Just took the long way.
What a first point of a tiebreaker right there.
It's great.
You know, I wait all summer to watch the U.S. Open. This is kind of like it. You know, it's that excitement, and it's just the shot making here is so entertaining.
It's great, and it's not just any one event anymore. It's all the events, and between how good of a job the APTA Tour is doing of live streaming all these events and the top players' commitment to playing so many of them, we just get a constant stream of new excellent matches to watch on a weekly basis, basically from now until Nationals in March.
Hey, then keep going. We got mixed nationals, and then the week before. Well, before mixed nationals and before the nationals, you forgot about the junior nationals, John.
This is true. I'm a little biased now that Cooper Friday is officially aged out. I feel like I don't watch it with the same rooting interest. But junior nationals is a great event.
Hey, Griffin Kramer, he loves the live streaming. He's chiming in the chat room. Shout out to Griffin.
Love having juniors stay engaged at the match. I heard a fun story that when Cooper played junior nationals last year, his fraternity live streamed the match and they made a day out of it. So, you know what? Shout out to Cooper Friday for growing the sport on the college age campus.
Cooper and Mason. And their mom and dad. What great parents. Got to know them over the years through junior nationals. So fun.
Speaking of fun, we're at 2-1 in this tiebreak, where every point is a highlight in and of itself.
Fraser West.
Rare miss there from Eric
Fraser
West,
West.
but still 3-2 for the Cincinnati boys. All right, Patty, what do you think is going to be the difference in this tiebreaker? I know, that's a hard question.
Wait, do I think the tiebreaker will end?
You know, that's fair. I do have to
I think
play
we
golf
could go
tomorrow
double.
morning at 10:30, so I'm just hoping it's done by then.
Yeah, we could get double digits in this tiebreaker. First to 7 by 2. You know, no one's handing it away, John. It's just who's going to take it. I mean, all these guys, each of them, every opportunity they have, all of them have done a great job of stepping up and really executing. There's so little separation.
Wow, what backup from Jose Salazar there. That's the kind of, just teammate having your back that I can get behind. Someone who's made a living out of backing up their partners. Great job there from Jose Salazar.
No, and I love your point earlier that you said, Fraser, depended on Morgan to do a lot, and he has a lot of trust in Eric West here. And Nunez and Salazar have, absolute trust in each other that they can risk and, scurry all around the court at all times because they know their partner got them covered.
I feel like State Farm should start sponsoring the APTA like a good neighbor. Either Eric West or Jose Salazar are there.
Maybe we can get Andy Reid in a commercial.
Right. All be good things. We've already had Eli Manning in a paddle commercial.
That's right.
I believe, Patty, you were in that commercial as well.
Yep. He came out and did a great promotional video for the sport of platform tennis before Junior Nationals a couple years ago.
4-2, Fraser West.
And I think he'd be entertained with this tiebreak. Big point there from Fraser West. Tyler Fraser hit out a loud "let's go." He checks his feet, wipes his hand, serves on the outside, he goes.
Help!
I think with how easy Salazar makes everything look, but I mean, he's just been hitting world-class rollers now, Patty, for the last 25 minutes straight, giving Fraser West absolutely no redrive opportunities and making them play tough defense.
Well, that's the thing about them. Their overheads, Salazar's overheads produce no offense from the other team. I mean, I said it recently. It's like if they kept stats on percent of the overheads that someone hits and that get attacked, Salazar's would be so low.
It is, and a lot of
Yeah,
times I think players just like assume that's luck or like they don't do anything special, but making good choices consistently is incredibly special.
5-2, Fraser West.
All right, there's a
Good
bit of
job.
separation forming here in the tiebreak,
Yeah,
5-2 Fraser West.
Yeah, little breakdown in communication. One of the few times that we saw it from Nunez Salazar there, and the ball kind of went through, and all the Salazar was the only one he couldn't come up with.
Wow, what a forehand. And great coverage there from Eric West.
6-2, Fraser
right.
West.
Jose Salazar not thrilled with that miss. Might have broken his paddle off his foot there, but the show goes on. 6-2 Fraser West. Once again, for those of you watching, be sure to stick around upon the conclusion of this match. We're going to get on-court live interviews with the finalists and the champions. The last time I said that, this match then went on for another 45 minutes, so what do I know? Ooh, another drop shot. Great ball from Guillermo Nunez. That's drop shot 27 on the day.
6-3, Fraser West.
And there's no moment that Nunez doesn't think he can do whatever he wants to do with the ball, which is so fun to watch. Eric West serving.
All right, took 45 minutes after their first match point, but they got it done. Eric West and Tyler Fraser win the second annual Baltimore Open, 7-5, 7-6, winning the second set tiebreaker, 7-3. Stay tuned because momentarily we are going to have on-court interviews with our finalists, Jose Salazar and Guillermo Nunez, and our champions, Eric West and Tyler Fraser. Patty Hogan, fabulous match.
That was really incredible. Just a showcase of the incredible talent in our game. So fun to watch. And I mean, here we are. It's only the third big tournament of the year. And, you know, the level of play, that was like a national championship level of play.
It was. All these teams are, you know, paddle's becoming more of a year-round sport. I know most of these guys and girls have been playing all summer, which has just led to amazing paddle matches to start these first couple tournaments. This tournament in Baltimore was absolutely loaded from the round of 16 on, resulting in not just great matches for the people in Baltimore to watch, not just great matches for us to watch in the live stream, but all these players should be in mid-season form heading into Chicago Charities next week, which should be a phenomenal, phenomenal set of matches. And, you know, as you just said, Patty, that was national championship caliber, and I'm excited to see a whole season worth of these matches.
Yeah, John Kilmer, you called it. You called it like it is. That was so fun watching this match, and that's a great look at Sam Byron, our tournament director. I think he'll do the post-match interview here.
This is Sam Byram, and at the Baltimore Open, 2024 Baltimore Open. We just witnessed a great final. First, we'd like to call out our finalists, Jose Salazar and Guillermo Nunez, for a couple of comments. Fellas? It's a great match. It was a long day. You put on quite a show for the fans. I know it wasn't the outcome you were looking for, but tell us a little bit about the match.
First of all, thank you, Sam, for putting such an amazing tournament. I know how hard you work, and all the players appreciate that. Good match. Congrats to West and Fraser. They played a great match. We had chances in the first set, missed an easy shot, and then we went back and forth, and we were behind, and then we were able to catch up a little bit at the end. Had chances, but being behind in the game is a little bit challenging, and congrats to them. Well deserved.
Amazing played. Congrats on the tournament. I love one-day tournaments. They're awesome. And we felt it in the end, that's for sure. I did. So I don't know if I'm too happy with it. But they played well. I think we had our moments. and we just couldn't play better than them. It's all good. But thank you for everything. Amazing.
Well, we appreciate you guys committing to our tournament. Jose coming down again for year 2. We really appreciate it. Have you back again, and good luck the rest of the way with your respective partners.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. Thanks. All right, now our champions, Eric West and Tyler Fraser. Gentlemen, well, it was your first time here in Baltimore. We do appreciate your committing and coming down this year. I know I put the heat on you to come after last year's tournament to come down. We certainly appreciate it. You guys had a long day. You started off with a tough 3-setter at 8:30 in the morning, and 13 hours later, you're here as champions. So thank you. Tell us a little bit about the match.
Yeah, long day of paddle, but I just wanted to thank everyone for coming out and supporting this tournament. This is our first time in Baltimore, and we loved it. We had a good time, even though we're both Bengals fans. So we made sure not to wear Bengals gear today. But no, we got better as the day went on, and that's all we could ask for. That first match was tough. Those are Tin and Tommy. They're just up and coming. They're scrappy. They play really good paddle, and we got better as the day went on. Helps having a pretty good partner to my right, but no, we're pretty happy with how today went.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was a great match. Thanks to everybody that put on the tournament. You guys did a great job. I agree with Guy that the one-day tournaments are great. A little exhausting, but I really like them. I like the no-ad and the one-day tournaments and support them. Yeah, we had to knock a lot of rust off throughout the day, and luckily kind of were able to get it done still and improve as the day went on.
Well, it was a great final. I know you guys are teamed up this year. I'm sure you play a lot of paddle together at home, but it'll be interesting to see your run this year and playing the full year together. Charities next week, I'm assuming?
Yep, we'll be there.
All right, well, good luck, gentlemen. Thank
Sam,
you so
thank
much.
you.
Hey,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you guys. Congratulations. Trophies. Oh, yeah. So these are, as I said, the women's final. We do things a little unusual down here. These are little solo stoves for your deck. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, thank you, Nobu. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for watching today. It was a long day. It was a great tournament, and we'll I guess be tuning in for charities next weekend. Thank you.
So, John, just an outstanding tournament. So fun. I can't wait to see these guys with their run for the remainder of the season. And I guess that's a wrap here from Baltimore. We'll see you in Chicago.
Awesome. See you next week, Patty.
Thanks.
What does a good investment opportunity look like? At T. Rowe Price, we let curiosity light the way, asking smart questions about opportunities like clean water and what promising new treatment advances can make a new tomorrow possible. Better questions, better outcomes.
At Corient, wealth management begins and ends with you. We believe the more personal the solution, the more powerful the result. We treat your goals as our own. We never lose focus on the life you want to build. And our experienced advisors design custom-built strategies to help you get there. It's time for a wealth management experience as sophisticated as you are. It's time for Corient.
Want to see how volley can transform training at your club? We've got a great offer for you. Gather 30 of your club friends and you'll get a free 30-day trial of volley. Experience firsthand how Volley's trainer can help everyone improve, increase reps, and track their progress, all while training smarter. Don't miss out. Visit getvolley.com and unlock your club's full potential with a 30-day free trial.